Hey, everybody, and welcome to the One Lane Road podcast.
Hey guys, what's going on this week?
Hey, the little intro we had there was from my cousin, friend of the show, Wesley Davis. That was his demo to a new song coming out, and I think we might keep that as our intro.
Yep, very good job by Wesley. I can't wait to hear some words put down on that. I'm still hear "Summertime Hit" all the time, all over the radio around here.
Yeah, I played it for 2 or 3 people this week.
Did you?
That was the name of that song is going to be "Country." Whenever you start looking for it, I don't have it out pretty soon. I'd say
I would think so. It's about that time for a new single.
About time.
I catch up with him on Snapchat quite a bit, and he's always in the studio doing something.
Yeah, he's hitting the studio pretty hard nowadays.
Well, speaking of music, kind of segue into our first segment anyway. Did you able to check out any of the CMA awards last night?
I got to start watching about 8:30 last night, and I got to see some pretty good shows. I didn't get to see the opening, which I heard was amazing.
You know, it really was. As I'm looking at the wrong paper here, just kind of catch you up on what you missed. Vince Gill with Ben Haggard, who's Merle Haggard's youngest son.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Clark and Brad Paisley, Carrie Underwood, Charlie Daniels, Dwight Yoakam, Charlie Pride, Reba McEntire, Alabama, Ricky Skaggs, Clint Black, Alan Jackson, and at the very end they bring out Randy Travis.
Man.
I mean,
monsters.
Goodness gracious.
You know, they did something that I didn't get to see that, but they did something they don't generally do. They brought a lot of them people back out and played again later then. Dwight Yoakam, Alan Jackson, Reba, and obviously Carrie. But
what I think, I really think that they know, CMAs know what they know what they're doing, and let's be honest, it's been very pop country several years in a row now.
Yeah.
For the 50th anniversary, I think they saw,
decided to actually play some country music on it.
To do something right by the people. And I know every year, in and out, I hate even getting on social media, and I've been guilty of that in the past before, about just getting on there and ripping the CMAs and ripping the association and everything else. And it is pretty bad, but I think they kind of had their ducks in a row with that introduction. I mean, like I said, they played all these classics from the old days. Devin Went Down to Georgia, Stand By Your Man, Mama Tried, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning, Guitars and Cadillacs. I'd be lying if I said my favorite one wasn't Fancy.
Right.
Hey, I lost it when Reba come out there.
Oh, yeah. She's sassy, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
And of course, I think the moment that brought everybody, tear to everybody's eyes when, Randy Travis, who had the stroke back in 2013, and they were singing Forever and Ever Amen, and he could barely muster up the final Amen.
Mm-hmm. Did pretty good other than that, though.
Well, he just
kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, he just kind of stood there, and Brad and Carrie stood with him, and he did the last Amen, dragged it out. And, I think everybody was pretty emotional about that. Then later on, even Garth and Tricia came out there together, and I don't know really what the point of it was kind of like, I really don't know what it was. If anybody knows what the point of that medley was, I don't.
That's probably goes back to his world tour. Them two, they actually tour together whenever he goes.
They were singing other people's songs.
That's what he does, though. I mean, a significant portion of what he did at like the Win was playing other people's songs. He plays a lot of his own tunes. Don't get me wrong, but if you ever sat down and watched one of his concerts that he did at the Win whenever he was in Las Vegas, and which I'm assuming is what he does on his world tour, he just goes through a significant list of songs of other people's that he really likes and really influenced him. He brings Tricia out, and they sing some of them songs together.
I can't remember now. The one that stood out to me, because I'm such a big Keith Whitley fan, he done a Keith Whitley song, and they showed Lori Morgan in the crowd. Of course, her, being an ex-wife of Keith Whitley, she was pretty moved by it. So it was great. Then they done the Dolly Parton.
Yeah, the big Dolly Parton.
You saw that.
I got to see that one. Yeah,
I liked her high comment about Willie, just because
she made 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I think she got a big enough pop from the crowd the first time. She's like, I'm going back to the well one more time.
Yeah, she milked it dry by the time she was done with it. And then she kept complaining there at the end that they wouldn't letting her talk. She had 2 or 3 jabs at the producers for not letting her say her speech.
It was a little ridiculous. I mean, there was like 5 people that got rushed off the stage last night. It's like, here's your award. We don't have time for it.
Yeah, we don't have time to listen to you, which I get it. If you're going to do such a big show, you've got to make sure everybody stays in their allotted time slot. But
nobody.
Somebody like Dolly Parton, you're giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to, you could probably give her a minute.
I think so. And like nobody even had a long speech up there. Yeah. So I don't even know where that came from. But you had a problem with part of the Dolly Parton.
I didn't quite understand part of the Dolly Parton thing there. You had some absolute country monsters on there. You had Jennifer Nettles, Reba McEntire, Martina McBride, Carrie Underwood, all up there to sing to Dolly Parton, and you bring up Casey Musgraves too. I didn't quite get the dynamic. I do in a way. I mean, I guess it's showing all the generations of singers that have been influenced by Dolly Parton, but she just didn't fit at all.
You mentioned you think she's never really sounded on key.
She doesn't sound on key to me. This is the second or third time she's been on CMAs. The first time, how they used to have like a little. You'd play like 30 seconds of somebody's song. They'd be over there sitting on the side when they're coming in or going out of breaks and stuff like that.
It was like the New Artist Award, the Horizon Award, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and she did that, and she didn't sound good to me on that. And then she had last year she had an entire song that she did of her own up there, where she's in the old decked out bedazzled boots and everything, and she didn't sound good to me then either.
I try to defend people like Casey Musgrave just because, like on websites that I follow, the same people that love Sturgill and Stapleton and all these guys love Casey Musgrave. So I feel like I'm being programmed to like Casey Musgraves, her, but I've just never really listened to her. And I get her trying to be the kind of like somewhere between, I won't say Gretchen Wilson, but like somewhere in the Miranda Lambert wheelhouse.
Yeah, maybe.
Where she's trying to be a little bit of a rebel, a little bit of a badass. And I think she probably is. Mm-hmm. Or she would probably have more commercial success because she would be sucking up and selling out a little bit more. Mm-hmm. She does kind of stick, even though that.
I feel like she's probably got a pretty hard tie into somebody at CAA because they've been pushing her pretty hard for the last 3 or 4 years. So I think she's kind of, personally, I think she's kind of skipping some steps. But I didn't think about it too much until I got here with you and you brought it up. So But now that you mention it in the who don't belong in this category, I can see what you're saying as far as the big wigs of that situation. Yeah.
But who gets on my nerves in that situation, who I could do without? Jennifer Nettles. Her overreaction to everything drives me insane.
Oh, I love Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know, everything about the way she sings, just love her voice. And she does some crazy stuff with her face, and I know what you're meaning there because you don't have to twist your face up like you're in a piece of aluminum foil the whole time you're singing, but she gets with it, man. She can belt the song
She's a great singer, and she seems like she's a great person, it seems like. But
yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but she's a good singer.
Everybody can put on that face. But I'm just saying, the overreaction to faces, just like you're...
For sure, she overreacts to her face.
That bothers me a little bit.
Well, whenever... they was up there actually giving Dolly Parton the award, they got all those girls back there behind her, and Dolly said something about her being a great actress because of the Christmas special that she did, and she completely overreacted to that comment and almost started crying back there behind her. Is one of the weirdest things I'd seen that night. It's
kind of similar to when Taylor Swift was in the world of country, and like Entertainer of the Year Taylor Swift, and she'd be like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "You've won 5 awards tonight. Yeah, get your stuff together."
Yeah, what's wrong with you? I know you gotta put on that face, I guess, but
oh my God, I can't believe I won
another
Jesus,
one. You won all of them, honey.
You've won them all. That's the way the CMA usually runs.
Yeah.
Is that everybody, Chris Stapleton, he won 1 award this year, but like last year, no one knew who he was, and he won everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, who in the hell is this guy? And this year he won.
I would say, what did he win?
He won Male Vocalist of the Year, which, well deserved.
I would say that there was a bunch of good music come out this year, but as far as vocalists out there, he was by far the most dynamic vocalist that come out this year, or that was singing this year.
Another one I was pretty excited about, being a fan of Eric Church won the Album of the Year for Mr. Misunderstood.
And he ought to have. That had some great music on it. I mean, that was one of the CDs that kind of come on slowly. And that's the one that had Outsiders on it too, or was that the name of that one actually, Outsiders?
No, that was the Outsiders. This one was Mr. Misunderstood, record year. Mm-hmm. Now he's got the song he performed last night, Kill a Word. Mm-hmm. Which is excellent. I've never heard 10 years in. I've never heard a bad Eric Church song.
Yeah, well, Outsiders. I'll say Outsiders wasn't a good song, and he performed it. I think he performed it last year, and I didn't care for it.
A couple years ago, I think.
Maybe 2 years ago. But either way, I didn't care for it. But Kill a Word was awesome last night.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah, he's
of that bunch. A couple of controversial awards. I know a lot of people were up in arms that Garth Brooks won Entertainer of the Year just because he's not been around.
Yeah, but
he has.
He has been around, and he's probably out.
More so than people think, I think.
Probably more so than anybody else that was out there on that stage last night. He's all over the world. He's on a world tour. He's not on a United States tour. He's not on one of these little rinky-dink tours that's running around. He just got done doing his stay at the Wynn Theater, and now he's on a world tour. He's probably entertained more people across the world than anybody on that stage did this year.
Sometimes I have problems with these award shows just because, like, George Strait hadn't really won anything relevant in a while. They kind of turned their back to him the way they turned their back to the guys. And then, like the year he said he was retiring, what do? They give him Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah.
Or it's like, you don't show love to Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard until they pass away. Then all of a sudden
they're the greatest.
They're having the tributes. And I'm like, come on, you never played any of their any projects they had for the last 10 years. It's like, don't be doing that now. But that's how it goes. And we can. Speaking of things that have people up in arms, you want to go ahead and address the soulful
Beyonce
pop singing elephant in the room?
Yeah, Beyonce and the Dixie Chicks, which when's the last time the Dixie Chicks did anything either? The last thing they did was got in a fight with George Bush, and then they come on and bring Beyonce on. And I'm not against Beyonce's music, but I don't know what she has had to do with CMAs. I don't know why she was on there. I know there's a lot of crossover country now. Florida Georgia Line, which we continue to bring up their name, they're pop country as it comes, and if you flip over to 106.9 or 107.5, you're going to hear a Florida Georgia Line song just as likely as you are going to hear a Beyonce song. But I don't know, she didn't fit into the dynamic really.
No, and Justin Wells had a great quote on Facebook that I read on the way over here. He said, "Y'all are acting like this is something it's new in the CMAs." He said, "I'll take pop music over pop country any day."
Right.
Because it's
being true to what it is.
Being true to what it is, basically. Here's where I stand with Beyonce being there. I guess I'm just so immune to it because they've programmed us for years and years to think it's okay to bring in this pop singer.
Yeah.
Many times the pop singer has lost their success or their star power in the pop genre or hip hop, whatever, so they come over to country,
right?
Or even faded out rock and roll stars that decide they want to do country albums, and that's exactly what
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, Steven Tyler, Brett Michaels, has done some stuff like that, and honestly, I don't even know. I sat in the living room with it on, and we had it blasting on surround sound, and I couldn't really tell you anything about her performance because I didn't care. I wasn't mad about it because, like I said, I've been programmed to think it's okay.
I'm for sure wasn't mad about it. I didn't see the relevance. I thought, well, that's an interesting choice there because now, granted, she is much more relevant even in the country circles than the Dixie Chicks are at this point.
But what did it bring? What did it add to the show?
Nothing that I've seen. I'll tell you what, bringing out all those country legends brought more to it than.
What I got frustrated about was Paul Kaharski, who is on 104.5 on the midday, and he's got his Yankee ways, and he's always right. The next time, he's one of those.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'll just tell you one thing. The reason he was there, people were blah blah blah. That's all the people are talking about today is Beyonce, because she's bigger than any star that you had there last night." Paul, what he doesn't realize is 95% of the people are talking about it, and I guess as long as you're being talked about, it's a good thing.
Right.
But most people were complaining about it because why was she there?
Right.
So he can bash the country music industry all he wants or whatnot, but, I mean, everybody wasn't. I mean, like I said, she was being talked about.
Yeah.
But other people were bringing records or like so-and-so might be a pop star, rap star, but they had a song with so-and-so person. I just don't understand.
Nelly and Tim McGraw actually did a song together.
Did the CMAs call her? Did she call them? Even?
Oh, I'm sure they called her. I mean, they trying to make that number 50 a big one.
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, why
not?
They
probably had to pay her a lot more than what they paid everybody else.
I'm sure. I would rather seen Waylon Jennings hologram out there myself.
Yeah.
If you're going to bring back legends, maybe quit being mean to Hank Williams Jr.
Or Shooter. Let Shooter come out and play.
Yeah. Anybody, but
God forbid Shooter gets to play.
I know. I have to call out our listener Travis Humphrey.
Yeah,
Travis went on Facebook today and just completely on a rant. I can't believe they brought Beyonce. That's bullshit. Blah blah blah. And he's like, "This is not country. Country ain't country." I said, "Brother, look, I'm usually with you."
Yeah.
I was like, they literally did a 10-minute medley about with country legends.
Right.
Garth and Tricia did a 6-song medley. I said Dwight Yoakam sung with Stapleton, George Strait and Alan Jackson sung together, Dolly got a tribute. I was like, just because they brought Beyonce out,
and really for 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes.
I mean, let's don't get our panties that big in a wad. Yes, country's not country anymore. But for God's sakes, for the 50th anniversary, yes, they brought Beyonce. Yes, we still had to look at the D-bags that our Florida Georgia Line performed.
Hey, and I want to defend them in just a minute, but go ahead.
You like that song, don't you?
That wasn't what I was going to defend them about. What I was going to defend them about was Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Florida Georgia Line at least stood there and sung their song, and Tim come out. He was running all over the place, doing some kind of weird dancing the whole time.
Again, that's one I didn't even look at.
Yeah.
I heard the song in the background, but I was probably on Twitter reading everybody's mean comments about Florida Georgia line.
Yeah.
And
Tyler Hubbard, I wouldn't have anything against him if he did get rid of that other guy.
I hate, but I mean, I looked in the crowd, and I can't repeat what I told Lindsay when they showed Tyler Hubbard.
Yeah.
And I just said, "I'll tell you when we go off air." But it was definitely very, very bad.
I didn't realize he had a guitar strap on that said T Hub.
Oh.
I kept
Thub.
I kept asking Kara. I said, "Who is Thub? Whose nickname is Thub? Who's he representing out here?" And then I got to look, and he had a little thing of Georgia up on the strap, and I thought, "Oh, that's his name. That's T Hub right there."
Hey, I can feel that part of the song though, where it says something about the Travis Tritt and the Tupac. I mean, that's exactly how my iPod goes: is Travis Tritt to Tupac.
Yeah,
it's honest to God.
Yeah,
but I mean, so Travis, dude. Hey, we all. Hey, guess what? And we better enjoy 50 because next year I have a feeling you're going to be complaining a whole lot more because 51, they're not going to care about tradition to 51.
No, they're going to break tradition with 51.
So, welcome back, Sam Hunt, with open arms next year and all these other losers that sing pop country.
Yeah.
So,
and Cole Swindell will be on there singing some sad song. Kid's got a great voice, but man, he sings some sad songs.
They say he's an awesome guy.
Oh, I bet he is. He's a pretty sensitive guy, I would imagine. But he sings some sad songs. That one he sings about his dad. Man, I have to turn that thing off, man. It'll just make me cry on the way to work.
Well, maybe that makes me like him a little bit. Meaning his whole album's not a party song.
Yeah, it's not.
That's all right then. That's what country music's based off.
Yeah, he's definitely got some feels in there.
Well, what about the other big story of the night? Quite possibly the biggest game in the last several years, Game 7, Chicago Cubs finally break the 108-year curse.
108 years. I'd be lying if I said I watched any of it, but I watched some of the news, and they were even talking about it on CMAs. A couple of different people come out there and gave updates of the scores.
It's big when they're doing it at the CMA.
Yeah.
It was such a good story. 108 years for the Cubs, 48
for the Indians. Yeah. I mean, it would have been a good story regardless who did it. I'm not sure why everybody got behind the Cubs, but Bill Murray was out there. He's a big Cubs fan. Bill Murray was out there, and he gave a ticket at Game 6. He gave some random person a ticket to the last game of the World Series, just randomly.
As long as I can remember, Bill Murray's been a fan of the Cubs.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him on stuff for years and years. I would think the majority of the people, like you and I, that don't watch baseball, if we said, who you go for, well, I guess the Cubs since it's been longer.
Yeah.
Because the Indians have been around relevance, throughout the years. They've been to a couple World Series. The Cubs were kind of just the, laughing stock for years and years, just like I said, the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Them and the Red Sox. Of course, the Red Sox, I think, broke theirs in 2004. Mackie will be proud that I know that. I hope I didn't get that wrong. I'm bragging on myself right even check the stats. But
I've got a Mackie at work too that wanted to come on and talk about the Cubs, and I had to tell him, I said, we just don't talk about baseball that much. And he said, it's the World Series. Are you kidding me? I said, hey man,
I'm surprised Jeremy hasn't been on me more about. Jeff has actually made a couple comments about. He's like, dude, basketball's over now. It's baseball time, and that was how many months ago? And
163 games ago, whatever it was. I can't devote that much time to something.
I did try to watch it. I flipped back and forth throughout the CMAs, and I'd catch it. And I know a few of the players just by watching sports so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Somebody's going to blow us up because I probably got the number of games wrong, but hey, I don't care.
Well, you ain't counting the playoffs, Lucas.
Yeah.
But, and then after it was over, I was like all hyped up. Thinking CMAs ended good and blah blah blah. And I said I'll check out the end of the game now, and I still feel good. Mm-hmm. Literally, ninth inning when I turned it over, fell asleep, woke up, and it was in the 10th inning, and I rewound it back trying to get started, fell asleep again, come back on, rewind. So I watched Sports Center this morning, see what happened. But hey,
I didn't. I knew that. I looked it up this morning after I got up just to see, because I thought, man, and I forgot to see the World Series. That was kind of the extent of it. I was proud for the Cubs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being a sports fan, it's just you root for that story a lot of times more so than and that's just last night's what sports is all about. You know, uniting the city. I would guarantee you that 80% of the workforce in Chicago was hungover or called in today.
Yeah.
Some shit got burnt last night. I mean, something happened bad in Chicago last night. But hey.
And, the Cleveland didn't need it as much as anybody else did. They've got one of the they've got the NBA championship. They've got one of the biggest fighters in the UFC is from there, and I mean they've got a bunch of stuff going on for them. What do the Cubs have?
Yeah, they've also got the Browns, so we got to have there's got to be a happy medium there. You got a really good baseball team. You don't have a world champion, but they're not the Browns. There's things are looking up in Cleveland at least. And did you have your? I guess Halloween's not a big thing in your household with.
Not yet. I don't guess it is, but we did go down to. We went down to my mom's house, and I bought a bag of candy on the way home to pass out some candy, and I forgot it in my truck, and so I've been eating candy all week since then. So I finally had to take it to work today and give it away. But I was my cousin brought over his two boys down there to my mom's house, and I had walked across the road to see Jace, and I was coming back. I don't even know why I did this, but I guess because it was Halloween. Anyway, his wife stayed in the car, and they had the windows down, and I come across the road, and she didn't know I was anywhere around. And I reached in and grabbed her and screamed at her and started shaking her arm. Oh, she screamed. She was trying to hit me, trying to shake me off of her. Apparently, somebody named Brad Davis does this apparently on the regular to her because she said, "Brad Davis, you better not be doing this to me again." In the middle of it, I was like, that was random. That's a weird way to get scared.
That's odd.
Yeah, but it was.
Brad Davis needs to get a hobby.
Yeah. Apparently he has one, sneaking up on Chaz's wife and scaring her.
Apparently.
But it was. That was kind of my highlight of Halloween.
Mine's pretty boring after that.
Yeah.
I was going to dress up. I like to dress up. Yeah. My grope and granny.
I seen your Beetlejuice costume popping up somewhere.
Yeah, I tried it on. Spoiler alert, it didn't fit anymore. It didn't fit. Yeah. And plus the black lines, it had faded where we'd washed it so many times where I had wore it 4 or 5 times.
It looked like an inmate instead of Beetlejuice now.
Yeah. So I was going to wear it we always go to a little get-together in Gainesboro. Mm-hmm. Like some families get together, go on a hayride and trick-or-treat around the square there and stuff. And I just went as myself. Waylon had the coolest costume ever, the Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah?
He really... He actually stole it from me because he was going to be Elvis, and I said, I'm going to be Hulk Hogan. Then he saw Hulk Hogan. He's like, oh, I got to be that. I was like, yeah, you need to wear it. Everybody told me he got robbed at the middle school contest.
They had a costume contest?
Politics, brother. No, I don't know. I can't imagine.
Cassidy didn't get it, did they?
If he went out there and done the hand thing that Hogan does and everything, there's no way that kid's not winning that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And I saw some other kids there were several that I saw on Facebook, teachers that sent that were some sweet costumes.
Yeah. There's a bunch of really good costumes.
I love Halloween.
I do too. It's probably one of my favorite times of the year.
It's my favorite holiday.
And for a couple of years, I'd go down there and sit at Mom's house whenever they was coming through. And I ain't gonna lie to you, parents. Y'all got kind of lazy on you kids' costumes. They'd come up and have a brown sack on him with with cassette tape on it. I'm a cassette player. Oh, good costume, kid.
No, Mom was watching Pinterest. That's what she saw. She thought she'd be creative.
And then this year, man, there's a bunch of good costumes come up. There's a good scarecrow came over. Kid straight dressed like a scarecrow.
Man, I love Halloween from all the way, like from haunted houses to if they're good. I love watching kids, like little babies, like Bayless was a monkey. Mm-hmm. I love watching the kids. And then I love going to adult theme Halloween parties. We've had several, like James Hatcher and I had a couple back-to-back ones at my house where it was just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Floating 3 before like 10. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we were having the time of our lives back then, man. And God bless the girls; they can dress like complete hookers and not get judged about it.
Right. It's Halloween. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not hookers 364 other days of the year. They're just dressing like one on Halloween because look at me, I'm cute. No, you're not. Well, you may be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, I just love Halloween. Another thing that this cracks me up. We give so much love to Salina here lately. Yeah, I feel like we got to bring it back a little bit.
Oh yeah,
not really.
Yeah,
but. I find Salina very amusing at Halloween time.
Why?
I was actually over there at a thing one time. Salina is the only place in the world that egging is not only allowed but encouraged by parents.
Oof.
By grandparents. Call me a nerd, but when I was in high school, I honestly didn't egg.
No, I didn't either.
I remember one year everybody was going to egg, and I was like, dude, the Lakers are home openers tonight.
Yeah.
I got to be a nerd and go home and watch the Lakers beat the Blazers. We just never really got into that over here on this side.
I never understood it. I mean, destruction of property is one thing I don't quite understand. I mean, anytime you hit somebody's car with one of them eggs, it's screwing that paint up.
But Salina's got like they've got like a preseason for it. I think they start in September running through. There's vehicles that actually have targets on them. People have beater cars, and like I was at that house getting candy and stuff we were eating, and somebody's like, an older dude was like, "Y'all going egging tonight?" And like most parents with any rationale would be like, You better
not be.
You better keep your asses at the house.
Yeah.
And they're like, y'all don't know how to egg like we used to back in the day. I tell you what, y'all just let us go. We'll go ride that truck. We'll show you what to do. And I said, well, so here, it gets better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it gets better. So I'm in another house later on, and we're trick-or-treating. We stop, make our rounds, and boom.
I hope that person's house got egged all night. I hope their car's got egged.
They're hitting eggs. And this one, started cussing. I remember this one person, dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they are not drive that kind of car through Salina. Yeah, because, we all got backups just for Halloween, right?
Yeah, I know I keep my backup car in the garage just for Halloween night.
I'm going to go buy me a little 91 Grand Prix for Halloween.
Yeah, let me get a Toyota Corolla from 89 and drive it around.
The other excuses
just so people can throw eggs at it.
Dude comes down, he jumps out, and he says, come on, man, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, not drive down this road. Because there's so many alternate routes in Salina.
Yeah, and probably a sign at the end of the road, right? That said with their egging out there.
Yeah. There's East Lake and there's East Lake.
Yeah, how do you randomly know not to drive down that road?
They ought not know now.
Yeah.
They ought know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm sick and effing tired. If that chip my pain, he's like, dude, there's kids out here. Don't you be dropping F-bombs. I'm like,
so that's what he had a problem with. He didn't. He had a problem with the cuss word and not them promoting the destruction of property.
I was like, dude, you're showing your kid how to throw a knuckleball at these $25,000, $30,000 vehicles 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. And you're defending that over somebody getting mad.
It really is so ridiculous. And I've seen parents like not get. They're like, I tell you what, they better not go to jail if they can't hide no better than that. By God, their ass is mine. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, or be a parent, be like, don't do it.
Yeah, just tell them not to go do the stuff that gets you in trouble.
Yeah, I got any extra eggs on you?
Yeah, let me get one of my eggs.
I'm bored up here, man. I'm bored up here.
How about a dozen of my eggs, man?
Come on, you got any on you?
Yeah, you got any on you? Let me throw one in.
I swear, man.
You don't have to throw in my eggs.
Hey, we love.
Let's go burn some hay.
It's so ridiculous that they were, it boggled my mind. Like, yeah. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, obviously, but I can't see the day I've ever be like, Waylon, we all doing tonight?
you ain't throwing no eggs tonight, Waylon?
Man, your mama's going shopping. You care if I ride with y'all? Yeah. I'll show you how to really do it.
Yeah. I got 4 dozen eggs in the back of my car. So let's go throw some eggs.
Hey, I do remember one time that I threw an egg. When Jeremy lived in the little house down
in Hermit Springs,
in town there. We're sitting there in the middle of the night. Well, it's probably 10:30, 11 o'clock, and he said, "Hey, man, yeah, what's up?" I said, he said,
"That's a good story."
He said, "It gets better." He said, "You gonna go throw an egg at that trailer across the road?" I said, "Why, yeah." Because it ain't gonna hurt a trailer.
Right.
I ain't gonna throw it in no car because I'm respectful. But
but I hit your house.
It's a trailer, an older one.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So we barely. It was like, Jeremy,
Linda.
Oh shit, your mama, mama. Y'all better get your butts, because that's how we're raised in Hermit Springs, slimy folks.
Yeah, get your butt back in the house and stop that.
Our mama will get us if we throw eggs, not show us the proper throwing technique.
Yeah.
So I think that was like one of my few egging experiences. But and while we're on the
the only time I ever threw an egg was out, just outside.
Odd story, I know, Salina folk, but hey, keep up the good work over there, juvenile delinquents. Our subscribers just went from
13 to 12.
We just lost 5 right then, at least. Hey, another funny story about Jeremy. I'm sitting there. Of course, we still like to keep up with old Hammer.
Yeah.
And we try to get him on tonight.
Yeah, but he won't come on.
He won't come on.
Everybody gets scared of these microphones.
I'm
going to say something they can't edit out.
I know, man. It's crazy.
I'll edit your whole conversation out if you want me to. You just tell me when we get done.
Lucas literally spent 72 hours editing the whole Salina basketball team.
I'll sit here for 2 days and edit if you want me to. I don't care.
Everybody was asking, like,
where's it at?
All these parents are texting me or messaging me on Facebook or Twitter, like, hey, how's the show coming? I was like, let me ask Lucas. He's the guy that's smart.
Yeah. he's probably dragging his feet again. Here I was just.
Oh, no, I knew you weren't.
Trying like hell to get it out there. I was so embarrassed by that, and I still want to do a redemption show over there.
Yeah, and I never did text Rob about it, but I'm sure that's no problem.
Yeah, we got to do another one. We'll get someplace better next time. That was embarrassing. I was proud I could get as much of it better as I could, but I just wish everybody could have heard it more.
I know, man, because those kids
were really good. They
were bashful to start with.
They were a little bashful and got better, and I just hated that it didn't sound any better. And the only thing I can figure out, I don't know why I couldn't hear it across my headphones. The only thing I can figure out is how close the proximity I was to everybody. I guess I was hearing them come across because, and I even made an effort once or twice to shove my headphones in deeper just to make sure I was hearing it. Yeah. But I, for whatever reason, I just didn't hear it when it was happening.
Well, I mean, they looked so they were a little nervous, and they were 18 inches off their microphone at some point. Just trying to not used to the situation. But no, anyway, we've had some. Nobody's really. You said a couple people had said something.
Said something to me about
it. But I mean, hey, appreciate Quentin and Melita Moss. They said they listened to a lot of our shows, and she put a nice thing on Facebook that we're doing good things, and Quentin said he appreciated it. So. We do apologize for the quality of that, but hey,
we'll get that back. I'll get that back.
Yeah, we'll make it up for that. And also, somebody I've been wanting to mention in the last couple of weeks. I hope he listens again. I don't know if it was just an odd show that he listened to, but Jake Stafford down in Jackson County, he listened to our show. And actually, the last one he listened to that commented on, he said it was Balls-tastic, and I'm getting older, but I think Balls-tastic is still a good thing.
I guess it is. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard it.
Well,
yeah,
Jake, there you go.
You broke one on me, but
hey, I was going to tell that quick story about Jeremy's kid.
Oh, yeah.
So, excuse me. I'm sitting at home Sunday night, and my buddy Jeremy's wife says, Leslie Hammer's tagged you in a post on Facebook, which I never really know where to go with that. Says, she says, I love how all of us parents are guilty of sugarcoating our kids and putting the petty, only the pretty, on Facebook. Well, I've got a real-life parenting moment. I realized two things tonight. One, Dylan Kennedy, DK, was named perfectly after Dustin Kennedy, DK, and he is possibly on the Johnny Knoxville Steve-O career path. First off, we have nothing to do with any. I hadn't shoved any Hot Wheels up my butt or anything on the show yet.
I'm not saying you do a lot of stunts, but
way too non-agile to. As we were driving down the road to get us some ice cream after dinner, DK informs us that if he had 20,000 monies, he would buy a hoverboard, a parachute, and a jetpack because that's on every 4-year-old's wish list, which is awesome. Buy that kid a parachute.
Get that kid a jetpack.
I mean, come on, it's Christmas time. Then we pull into Sonic, and all the kids are going crazy and bouncing off the minivan walls, and I hear the dreaded "Mom, watch this," which is the kid equivalent to a frat boy's "Hold my beer," which is absolutely true.
That's exactly right.
I've been both. I turned around to see my 4-year-old's naked butt mooning me from the back seat in front of the big open back glass window of the minivan in the middle of Sonic's parking lot, and he's laughing hysterically like it's the funniest thing ever that's happened. Because that is the funniest thing ever. Can't say it's my proudest moment. Well,
it should be. That was a pretty good moment.
If your kid's just showing a little personality, Leslie, and so is Lucas's dog over here going ballistic on this rubber ball.
Going crazy on this thing.
Hey, man, the kid's showing a little personality. I love that the kid's named after me because that's pretty cool. A hoverboard, I don't feel like it's too much to ask for.
You can get him one of them two-wheeled things as long as you get one that don't catch on fire.
And if we're going to go there, if we're Knoxville and Steve-O, like Jeremy was the Johnny Knoxville to my Steve-O. For sure. Jeremy done some outlandish things as a youth.
I'd say I'd say he probably was the brains behind some of it too, wasn't he?
He was the stunt, like if you want to talk stunt man, him and Casey Hagan done stunts. I was always the third one in the back going, that's pretty stupid. I ain't doing that.
That may have been your Steve-O right there.
Casey was Steve-O.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was. I don't watch that. I hadn't watched that series enough.
Yeah.
I was the guy that going
You're
back.
more like Bam Margera.
Yeah. I'm just like, this is not a very good idea, guys.
The guy terrified of snakes.
I am terrified of snakes.
I am.
But, hey, I don't feel like that's a bad situation, Leslie. I think it's awesome.
That is an awesome story.
I hope he moons somebody this week. Honestly.
Tell him to holler at Jimmy Campbell about what it gets you in Cookeville, though. So he may want to keep that to a minimum once he hits 18.
Exactly. So, hey, we're going to take us a little break here and come back with some more sports talk. Just a reminder, if you guys are on social media, check us out on Twitter at OLR Podcast. Check Lucas out at LG Hickman 21 and myself at DRE Kennedy _83. You can find us on Instagram at OLR Podcast. And on Facebook, we encourage you to like our page, The One Lane Road Podcast.
All right, we're back from the break. Got a little sports talk coming up.
Got some sports talk. First off, we're going to lead off. We're about to call our calling guest for the week. She's her name is Amber Harding. She's the social media coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, and
we've been talking about her for a
couple times.
Yeah, talking about we're going to have her on here, and lo and behold, here we are.
Yeah, weeks ago, we promised her as probably our first call-in guest, and we've had a few since then, and even more people in her organization. But she's going to come on today and talk to us for a few minutes. I think she just got done in the gym.
Yeah,
so
that's what we should have been doing.
She's a gymaholic.
Yeah.
So
let's give her a call.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're good. You just get done at the gym?
Yeah, just got finished at the gym. I've been I've been slacking a little bit this week, so
I'm sure
trying to get back in.
I'm sure you're not slacking more than we are. I promise you that.
Yeah, we're sitting in a basement. We're sitting in a basement recording a show. We sure ain't been on the out in the gym.
Well, slacking for me is probably still going pretty hard for most people, but I'm a crazy person.
Right.
For everybody talking, we're talking to Amber Harding. She's the social media coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Just tell us, everybody, like what's some of your daily duties just working for the Titans there?
Honestly, it's different every day. It kind of depends on what's going on. But I do run all of our social media channels, so I'm a one-man band, which kind of makes it hard because I have to keep track of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and Vine and all that good stuff. Although Vine is going away, so that's one less thing on my plate, although I'm sure it'll be replaced by something equally.
Something will come back in its place.
Yeah, exactly. So I do that every day, and it's a 24-hour-a-day job, and Twitter never sleeps, as I'm sure you all know. But I go, we go to practice. For post-practice, I do like the locker room interviews and that kind of stuff, and we try to find good quotes to send out. But I also work in the PR department, so I do a little bit of that as well, scheduling and all that fun stuff.
You're getting pretty good sneaking in the background of people's interviews here on Twitter. I see a lot.
You know what? I've kind of made it a game for myself. Like how many times can I photobomb Coach LeBeau in a week? I'm sure he loves that. There's an art to that, to be honest with you, because like if you notice in those pictures, like the people who aren't paying attention, it can be a pretty embarrassing photobomb if you're making like a squinty face, or I often make like my stank face where I look like I'm mad when I'm really not.
I think you called that
the same interview that I've heard a million times.
Yeah. Are you trying to be nice and not say rested bitch face on our podcast?
Yeah, I didn't know. Can I say resting bitch face on this podcast?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, now you can.
Okay. Well, I just made the rules, so I can't now.
Good.
Yes, I certainly have the RBF going on.
Well, what about how do you come up with all that stuff that you post? I mean, because like you said, that's a full-time job, and I mean, does the well ever run dry on you? How do you keep coming up with new stuff all the time?
During the season, the well absolutely never runs dry. I mean, there's always something going on. I always joke about like how I'm always working, but it's true. I never have any days off during the season because there's always something going on. The players get to take Tuesdays off, and I don't. So I'm a little bit bitter about that. But even if I was at home, I'd still be on Twitter anyway, so it doesn't matter. But no, during the season, the well never runs dry because there's always football going on. We've always got practice, or somebody's doing a charity event, or there's a game, or there's something. In the off season, it does get a little trickier. The off season is not as long as a lot of people think of it. When you think of the off season, you think February to July, right? Then August starts kind of preseason and whatnot. But really, if you think about it, in February you've got the combine, and then you've got pre-draft visits, and then you've got the draft, and then you've got OTAs and mini camps and all that good stuff. So really, the off season is July for us. That's really the only time. Yeah, that's really the only time when we're not doing anything.
I made the mistake one time, Lucas, of telling her it must be nice just to sit behind a keyboard and get to tweet all day, and I didn't. And that was really before I was knowing her really, decently. And I don't think, Amber, I got a too nice of a response, did I?
No, I might have gotten a little testy with you
snippy
on that one.
So that's the next question. Like, how do you handle it, knowing you're a little feisty personality? How do you handle? I mean, obviously it's your job to be able to handle it, but how hard is it
to stay professional whenever somebody's
all the negative Twitters every Sunday when Marcus throws an interception or whatnot or anything negative? How hard is it not to just shoot one back?
Oh, sometimes it's really hard. I mean, you get used to it. You have the general after you lose a game, you're always you can be the New England Patriots and be 5-1 or whatever they are now, and you lose one. Or how are they 6-1? And you lose one game, and people are like, "You suck!" That's just how people are, And so, you're always gonna get that. You're always gonna get the "you sucks" and stuff like that. And when that happens, that doesn't even faze me. But every once in a while, somebody will say something that, I take it. I shouldn't take things personally, but because I'm a part of this organization and I'm so close to the people in it, sometimes it's really hard not to.
And really, with you being the one behind the keyboard, they're talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. And people don't know that. People don't. If people knew, I think there would be a lot less trolling than what we have now. If people knew this was coming to me.
Oh no! It would be worse. I mean, that trolling gets stepped up to a completely different level. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you're right. But sometimes you just have to kind of take it for what it is. You get used to it. You get used to being a human punching bag, to be honest with you. But it's not always like that. When we win, it's the absolute opposite. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's a great day for me because it's like everybody's saying all these super nice things to me. So that makes me feel a lot better. So it kind of evens out.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? Like after the Colts loss, everybody's like, maybe we shouldn't have drafted Marcus. He's a turnover machine, yada, yada, yada. And then they beat the little poor defenseless Jaguars, and Marcus is the best thing since sliced bread. So it just goes back and forth so quickly with fans. But I have to admit, being friends with you now, and after interviewing some of the people in the organization, and our first 6 months here, I've kind of watched. Lucas said you think people wouldn't, change their way they're thinking. Like I'll tweet something sometimes on Sunday pissed off, and I'll be like, "Oh, Amber, somebody's gonna see that from times." I'm like, I need to delete that right now.
So it's always funny when I'm going through our mentions and I see something that's insulting and it's from someone I know, because I'll be like, "Hey, you know that was me."
You know who you was talking to.
I don't think I've done that too much.
Yeah.
No, you really haven't. Most of the time it's like people I went to college with who don't know that I have that job, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, remember me?"
Yeah,
that's me.
Well, that was
but the internet is such a fickle place, and I get it. I'm a fan as much as anybody, and I grew up a huge Miami Dolphins fan of all things, so I've seen some things, and I've been very unhappy as well. And I'm a current Vols fan, so imagine how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get being a fan. You learn to deal with it, and that's kind of part of my job. Is just letting it roll off.
And nowadays, these people are just saying stuff to get a reaction. So I mean, most of those trolls out there are just trying to get somebody in the Titans organization to actually see their quote and say something about it. So they go, "Hey, look, I got a retweet."
Oh, absolutely. And I have a policy. I don't block anybody.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of those people, that's what they want.
Oh, yeah.
The only time I've ever blocked people is every once in a while you get a random account that pops up that's pretending to be the Titans.
Yeah.
Or they try to look like the Titans, where they have our exact same Abby, and then they're tweeting every single thing that we tweet. That's the only time I'll just flat out block somebody. But the super trolls, I'll give you an example. Jaguars fans are terrible on Twitter. And you wouldn't think that they would be, because they're used to being at the bottom of the division. I think they're the only team on Twitter that has less followers than us. And that's a product of just being in a small market and whatnot. And I get that, but it's the fact that they are historically bad, but they have the most what's the word I'm looking for? Sass on Twitter, I guess. And they will go after you about ridiculous things. Like, they have this idea that all Titans fans love mayonnaise. That's their thing.
That's hilarious.
Which it sounds ridiculous.
That is the most
right?
ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
But I love mayonnaise.
No, it's absolutely 100% ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we get hundreds of Jaguar fans who will just tweet us pictures of Hellman stars. Like, no joke. That's what we get. And they've photoshopped all these pictures of, like, our players holding mayonnaise.
What the hell is this all about?
And I don't know where it started. I have no idea where it started, but this whole idea of, like, Titans fans loving mayonnaise. They'll go to, when they're at their grocery store in Jacksonville, they'll take a picture of the mayonnaise display and tweet it at us.
That's hilarious.
And so I can't block these people because they, like, live for that, right? Like, they want to screenshot that and send it out and go, the Titans blocked me. Like, they live for that.
Yeah.
So I don't give them the satisfaction. I just mute all of those people because there's a beautiful thing on Twitter called the mute button where, like, you have no idea that you're muted, but I can't see anything that you're saying.
It's like the equivalent of the unfollow button on Facebook, basically.
You know what they say about Florida, though? The further north you go in Florida, the further south you get. So there's some, there's some rednecks in North Florida.
Yeah, well, and they're wrong because I'm a Miracle Whip person anyway. I don't like mayonnaise. It's Miracle Whip around here.
That's so funny.
Well, maybe we should start the counter movement on Twitter where we just send back pictures of Miracle Whip.
Challenge accepted.
Well, Amber, you kind of touched on it a while ago. How does somebody get into being a social media coordinator for such a big organization like the Titans?
It's been a wild ride. It's crazy because I was talking to some high school students at our Titans Learning Lab on Tuesday, and I was telling them, I was like, when I was your age, I sounded like such a grandma. I was like, when I was your age, there was no Twitter. But for real, there was no Twitter until after I graduated. Like, I think it was my senior year of college when Twitter came about.
You're a MySpace
so it's
queen.
Kind of funny. I was on MySpace. I had, like, my top 8 friends,
Yeah.
But no, like, it's so funny to think if you had told me in high school, hey, you're going to get paid to, like, be on Facebook, I would have laughed at you. I'd have been like, all right, where do I sign up? But so it's so funny to think of, like, what it's grown into now. But I actually went to college for broadcasting. I wanted to be a sports reporter, and I was for a little while. I worked in baseball and stuff, but I interned for the Titans in 2010. And I was in the PR department where I am now, and I'd always kind of kept in touch with my boss, and he was a good mentor of mine. And so when they decided to hire someone full time to do social media, he asked me if I was interested in applying. I said, of course. And long story short, here I am back in Nashville. After being in the desert for 4 years. Now
you was out there with Arizona Diamondbacks, weren't you? What did you do the same thing for them?
Yeah, well, I didn't do the same thing for them. It was a little different. My job out there was so fun, but it's kind of hard to explain. I actually worked for Major League Baseball. I worked for the league, and my job was real-time correspondent, which basically meant I was like the social media /blogger /photographer for the visiting team for the Diamondbacks. Because in baseball, because you're on the road for so long, they actually don't travel huge staffs of people. They only send like one PR person and then coaches and all that good stuff. So they don't send photographers. They don't send social media people or reporters or anything. So basically my job was to be in touch with all their digital directors. So say the Dodgers were coming in town, I would talk to the Dodgers digital person. They would tell me, all right, we really want to focus on Clayton Kershaw this series, or we really want a lot of pictures of Yasiel Puig, or whatever they wanted for that particular home stand, or for that particular road stand. For them, sometimes they wanted videos, sometimes they wanted photos. Whatever they wanted, it was my job to get for them and send back to that team.
Talking about your baseball, so did you watch the World Series last night or the CMAs?
Oh, of course I watched the World Series.
You didn't watch any of the CMAs?
No, and I love me some country music, and I will find that Eric Church performance, and I will watch that.
Ooh, it was good. It was really good.
I'm sure it was, but I just couldn't. I mean, come on, it's Game 7, it's the Cubs. You can't not watch it.
Break a 108-year streak. That's hard to miss. Now, me saying that, I missed it.
I attempted, and I've told you how much I hate baseball. But I did try last night. I know that about you. Yeah, I watched about 2 innings. Then I caught
So you didn't see the ending?
I was so pissed because I it was like the bottom of the 7th, top of the 8th when the CMAs went off. So I flipped over, going to check the rest of it out. And I fell asleep in the 9th and woke up during the rain delay. and then like went back 2 or 3 different times with my DVR, and I just finally gave it up at like midnight.
I do not understand you, DK. I don't understand you.
I tried. Like, I was trying for all you people that love baseball so I could talk about it, but I caught it on SportsCenter this morning if it matters any.
It was really exciting. It was my family. I grew up in a family of Cubs fans. I'm from Indianapolis, and we obviously don't have a major league team, and so everybody kind of gravitates toward the Cubs there. And my whole family are big Cubs fans. My uncle was he was a season ticket holder, and he lived in Indianapolis. So he used to drive up to Chicago for every homestand and watch the games.
You think they would be Reds fans? Or is Chicago just as close as Cincinnati?
It is, but and maybe I think there are a good amount of Reds fans in Indianapolis. Cincinnati's actually about twice. I mean, it's like it takes about half the time to get to Cincinnati as it does Chicago. It's only about an hour and a half away. Cincinnati is. Chicago is about 3 from Indianapolis, but I guess with just the history of the Cubs, I mean, not really a history of like championships, but just the history of the Cubs and everything. I think a lot of people really gravitate toward them as opposed to the Reds. But yeah, my uncle that I was just talking about, actually, he died of cancer back in 2000, but he was one of the few people who actually got to have their ashes spread out at Wrigley Field in left field.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So did you actually grow up in Indianapolis, or did you grow up in one of those suburbs of it?
I grew up, kind of a suburb. I lived in, actually, I had an Indianapolis address when I was about 8, and then I moved to Greenwood, which is a southern suburb, but, yeah. I mean, it's not far. I mean, I still went to school in Indianapolis. Blaine Bishop and I are both proud Cathedral Irish graduates.
All right. Yep. I got a bunch of family up north of Indy, so I didn't know if you was close to them or not.
Oh, okay.
I went blank on the name. I don't know why I even brought it up because I went blank on the name before. I hope she just lets it go now.
I still don't know that I've ever been to Indianapolis, but I went to Noblesville. I told you about that. So I don't know, how far was I from, like 40 minutes from Indianapolis?
Yeah, not too far. Maybe, Noblesville, it depends. You can get to, like, the north side of Indianapolis, only maybe 15, 20 minutes from Noblesville. But I went to many concerts there at that. What's it called now? Is it Clips?
Clips or something like that, yeah.
Clips, yeah. Okay, when I was growing up, it was called Deer Creek. And I used to go to so many concerts there. Every year, my grandma, for my birthday, would buy me the country mega ticket. So I would have tickets to every country concert at Deer Creek that year.
That's the best grandma ever.
No, my grandma's the absolute best. So yeah, that was my gift. So I would sit on the lawn, and I got to see everybody, basically. Like, I saw Taylor Swift open up for Brad Paisley back in the day when she was like nobody, and now I can't afford to even come within 3 miles of her.
Yeah. I'd judge you if you did try to go see her. So.
Oh, come on. You'd have fun at a Taylor Swift concert.
Would I?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had a good time. Like, it was so wild that it was like a flash flood warning. The weather was perfect going from Tennessee through Kentucky to Indiana. And like, when we got there was cars floating in parking lots, and like I finally got enough Twitter service. I switched phone companies. I had terrible reception up there, just enough to see that the concert had been delayed for a little while. So we sat out in the parking lot forever, and like then they attempted to let 30,000 people in, like all at one time. So
yeah.
Well, did you at least have some cold beers to enjoy while you were waiting out in the parking lot?
Is that a real question? I had beers from Red Bull.
It was a question I knew the answer to.
Yeah, I had beers from Red Bull and Springs, which is
to Indianapolis.
To Indianapolis, and then and I'm drinking, and I'm having this Miller Lite right now for you, actually, for your gym time that you had tonight. So, yeah, I did have a few, but it was Chris Stapleton. I missed like 2 of the best songs that he had, and I got to like two of his better songs than all of his love making. I don't know if he's got love making music at all, but like the ones where he and his wife like staring each other's eyes endlessly. It seems like for 37 minutes. I got all of those songs in. So, well, hey, I know you went to UT, and we want to kind of jump back. I know we're jumping all over the place, but I got to let you tell your Pat Summitt story. When Pat Summitt passed away, you had just an awesome story that I think you put on Facebook. You care to share?
Yeah,
share part of that.
Yeah, for sure. So it was my sophomore year at Tennessee, and my freshman year was 2007. That's when she won her. That was the last championship that she won there. and with Candace Parker and that whole crew. And then 2008, as a sophomore, I was tasked for the school newspaper to write like a season preview on the Lady Vols. And of course, this is a story that everybody's writing at the time, right? So Pat has done this interview 1,000 times about this team, and I was scheduled to interview her at a certain time, and I went in there, and she was busy with something. She was doing something else, and of course, me, I'm just like, I'm nobody. I'm this little sophomore reporter, like, just getting started, and of course, I'm like, oh, she's got something way more important than me, no big deal. And I talked to the SID, the sports information director, and he was like, I'll send you some quotes. Will that work? And I was like, yeah, that's fine, and I'm totally understanding. I'm thinking there's no way she's, I was surprised that she agreed to talk to me in the first place. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll take some quotes. So I go to class. A couple hours later, I'm like sitting in my car getting ready to go into the communications building, and my phone rings. It was a number I didn't know. It was an 865 area code, and I answer it. And she's like, hi, this is Pat Summit. And I was like, I almost peed my pants. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't have my notes out or anything. I'm just like, I'm like scrambling. She was like, I'm really sorry I missed you earlier. How you doing? Like, she was just like the nicest person you could possibly imagine. Just like, it was like I got a phone call from my aunt or something,
Oh, yeah.
So it was like immediately, like, even though I was super nervous when I answered, it was like within seconds, like I automatically felt super comfortable. But she gave me a great interview. She talked to me for like 15, 20 minutes. And then even after the interview, she started asking me like about what I wanted to do with my career, all that stuff. She was just awesome. And then after that, she knew my name every single time. She called me by my name every single time I saw her over at Thompson Bowling, which, like, when you're a even now, like,
yeah, that would be, yeah.
I've been around, like, that would still be really cool. I still think it's cool that Dick LeBeau knows my name, but, and I work right next to him, so that tell you something. But anyway, yeah, so the fact that she took the time to just like know everyone's name, even the student reporters and everything, she just made everybody feel like they were Bob Costas. You know, and I love that about her.
So you never saw like a too much of a bad side of her. I read some weird stories about her, like being kind of hateful to people along the way. But I've heard more so the stories you're telling. Just a really humble person, even in her.
Yeah.
I would think any of those times that she was, any times that she was hateful, if she was ever hateful to anybody, I'm sure it was in the middle of a game somebody was trying to, or right after a game, or right before one when she was super serious about what she had going on, that she was just real stern and serious. It'd been more than hateful, I would imagine.
I could definitely see it. I mean, I could definitely see like how somebody could take that the wrong way, because she is such an intense person, especially in the middle of a game, during a game, right before, right after.
Yeah.
Extremely intense. We've all seen the way she gets after those girls, or got after those girls, and so like I can totally see someone maybe trying to grab her at the wrong time and maybe taking it the wrong way, but I can't imagine her being purposely hateful by any means.
I think a good example of the mark she left at Tennessee was when you seen Candace Parker the other night winning the championship, and she's in tears saying it was for Pat. I mean, that just speaks of the of the level of respect she had for all of her former players.
Oh yeah, they all see her as a second mom for sure.
Well, hey, I got to hang out with your boyfriend the other day. You know, if we had to do this interview and we don't mention him, he's gonna pout a little bit. You know, he's going to.
Maybe so.
So it's good to getting to meet him a little bit. You know, we've met him the first game of the season this year.
Yeah. It would have been Minnesota when we were over at the Georgetown team.
Yeah, so we got to hang out with him for a few minutes, and he plays all over Nashville. Stage Legends is that some of your favorite spots to go to Nashville's, like where he plays, or where's some of the kind of cooler places? And I mean, it's got to suck being in your mid to late 20s, living your dream job in Nashville.
Yeah. It's really rough for him, I'm sure. It's funny, he's actually sitting right next to me. So.
Hello, Chris.
Everyone says hello. He says hi.
Tell him he's next. Tell him he's got to get on next too.
Yeah.
because today we were looking for a guest, and I was actually thinking about him because me and him had talked about it the other night. And Lucas Lucas said text Amber since she was going to be on earlier. He's like, see if she wants to come on. I said okay. But I mean, I'm talking about both of you. Both of you, I mean, just have.
Well, thank you, Lucas. I'm glad that I was your first pick.
Well, we've talked about you 2 or 3 times on here, and I kept I've heard nothing but good things about you, so I was interested to hear from you. And that I was really super interested. People are probably tired of hearing me say it, but I'm technically illiterate when it comes to social media, so I kind of wanted to get the inside scoop on it.
That's okay. That's actually kind of refreshing because I spend a lot of time on social media. Yeah, it's nice to step away.
I wish I could find a medium ground, but like how much I spend on it and how little Lucas does. I wish I had that medium ground there, So.
Oh, yeah.
But
you and me both. The problem is that I become like, because I'm on it all day, like sometimes I can't help myself. Like I have to see. Yesterday it was so funny. There were 3 people sitting in my living room watching the World Series. All 3 of us were on our phones while we were watching the World Series, and I had to stop and laugh for a second because I was like, "This is sports now. This is sports in 2016. Like, we can't just watch a game. We have to be like on our phones, seeing what everyone else is saying about it at the same time."
The same thing happened to me at the Battle of Bristol. My friend Brad and his wife Becky came down, and I was in the floor playing with Bayless, and I looked up, and Lindsay was in the recliner on her phone, and Brad and Becky were on my couch on their phone, and I Snapchatted it, and I was like, "We're having a hell of a time down at the Kennedy household tonight." and nobody was talking to anybody. But going back to the question, I was talking to both. I was actually referring to you, but Chris is also the same way, and he's playing all these bars. Like, what's some of y'all's favorite spots to go? I mean, in Nashville, to people that don't know Nashville as well as I might.
Well, honestly, when he's working, that's where that's kind of where it's kind of where I go. But when he's not working, we don't go downtown very often. More like Midtown, like Losers, that area. I prefer Losers over Winners. I'll go ahead and on record and say that. I'm not really a Winners fan, except at Whiskey Jam on Mondays. That's fun. But I do really like Losers. I'm not a Rebar fan. I found that on the weekends, I'm too old for Rebar, which is like really sad for me to say because I'm really not that old. I'm 27, but like I walk in there and feel like I'm 75 and need to be home like quilting.
I've been to Losers, and it made me feel like home. And what I mean by home is all these like hole in the wall dive bars here. Patty's Place and Domers and. Lucas, actually, I was telling Amber about this. We've told her about the back roads we ride. And I was like, I don't know why I don't move to Nashville. I was talking to her one day. I said, I don't know why I don't move to Nashville. She goes, it's because you like riding on your four-wheeler eating your sketch bologna. And I said, what do you mean sketch bologna? I don't remember saying this. Yeah. Apparently at the George Jones Museum after the Titans game, we went on this big, long pickled bologna rant. And me and Brad are trying to justify.
He did. It was the longest pickled bologna rant in history.
Oh, this man will straight lay some pickled bologna knowledge on your head. I mean, he will eat you up with it.
I don't know why in the hell we talked about it for probably 15 minutes.
Hey, honey, it ain't the first time he's talked about it. I hear it once every 2 or 3 weeks.
And honestly, if I leave Lucas's driveway right now and take the first left, I might go by Domers tonight and wake him up. He might be passed out in his recliner, while I'm in there. But I may get pickled bologna. But she's like, she couldn't believe how the situation. I mean, you know how it is. You go out there and it's like asking for crack. It's like Domer got that pickled bologna in the freezer out there. It's ridiculous.
Look, I don't know. See, like I'm not too bougie for bologna. I'm really not. But I don't know about going into like a backwoods dive bar and eating pickled bologna like from behind the bar.
Yes, who wants some hot pickled bologna from the counter?
I don't know why you got to bring such snootiness to our podcast tonight. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of frowning down on it right now, but I told Chris the other night at the game what happened was Chris and he texted me, he said, you never hollered before the game, and I said, yeah, my bad. I said, we were out there with the family. He said, let's meet at halftime. So thank you, Chris, for the celebratory we're killing Jaguars 27-0. So I owe him for sure for those.
Yeah. And I appreciate both of you sending me pictures of your whiskey shots also while I was working. And couldn't partake.
Yeah, it was awful nice of them while you were up there slaving diligently.
Yeah. See, I was working really, really hard.
Yeah. Let's be honest. She was in the press box. She was in the press box updating Twitter at halftime while we were taking our whiskey. So those don't feel too bad for poor Amber here, but. All right.
I have this brilliant idea that we should have a private whiskey stash in the press box, like just in case we need it, but it hasn't caught on yet.
Well, if this was 35 years ago, every person in the press box would be just hammered on some old Gentleman Jack or something.
You can't get Jim White to shoot some whiskey with you?
I bet he would if we had that option.
If you wear those tacky ass shirts Jim White wears, he'll drink some whiskey, surely.
Yeah, and I've got a secret about Jim Wyatt actually, and I'm going to expose it on this podcast now. When Jim Wyatt drinks whiskey, he sings Rocky Top.
Well, why wouldn't you? It's the greatest college song ever.
No, he will wear his Vandy visor and sing Rocky Top.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Vandy thing.
Yeah, no, he's a huge Vandy fan, but if you give him some whiskey, he'll sing Rocky Top. It's magic.
That's awesome. Well, I told Chris y'all are coming down. We're going to introduce you both to the sketchy bologna on these back roads during the off season, for sure.
Look, if I can ride a 4-wheeler and eat pickled bologna, I'm happy. That's all I need.
Let's do it. Well, hey, we're getting kind of long here. We're going to try to wrap it up. We're going to do kind of like a rapid fire. I don't know why I said rapid fire. I've never said rapid fire in my life, but we're just going to ask you some random questions here. This is the first thing that.
Okay, right. You said rapid fire. Now I'm nervous. I feel like I need to be on my toes.
Yeah, well, you should be.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you're a Pacers fan. So Reggie Miller or Paul George?
Reggie. Just the history, but I do love me some PG-13.
Just stupid nickname, but Reggie Miller is the man.
Shut up.
Favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh, good one.
Favorite band?
Does this mean like band or like artist?
Both. Name one of each.
Either. Oh.
Okay, my favorite artist of all time is Garth Brooks. Just the show that he puts on and everything is amazing. Band, here I'm gonna throw you a loop on the band. Poison.
You had good taste. I was about to say these kids got good taste.
No, hey, I'm with her.
Some Poison.
I saw Bret Michaels at a Rays game in July, and he was really good.
Did he have his bandana
Bret Michaels
/ wig
is so
on?
cool.
Yeah.
Bret Michaels is like corny cool, but he's really cool. I think he's
only cool because he's so corny. Is what it is. He come back around.
Yeah,
he caught it on the.
That's the best kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm banking on every day. Yeah. So, okay. Favorite sports team other than the Titans?
Pacers.
Oh, cool.
Baseball or football?
Oh no, you can't do that to me. They each have their upsides. That's for sure. I love working in both, but I'm going to say football right now because
you're getting paid
to paycheck. Yeah.
Yeah. Your go-to drinking song, like if you know.
I have two of them. Like if I've been drinking too much whiskey, there's 2 sing-along songs that I have to do: "Shameless" by Garth Brooks and "Neon Moon" by Brooks and Dunn.
Hey, can't beat that. Most embarrassing song on your iPod?
Oh, I'm not embarrassed by anything, so it doesn't matter to me. Oh shoot, I've got a lot of like old like pop on there, just like 90s pop. Like we got like a bunch of like Jesse McCartney, Dream Street, that kind of stuff. So I guess you could say that. But
those are 2 names people ain't said in a long time.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Jim White, we forgot to ask him on our interview with him, so I asked him the next time I see him in person. Maybe I hit him up on Twitter. I can't remember. No, I got on his mailbag doing that. I was like, shit, I forgot to ask him, so I did it on the mailbag. And it was stuff I never heard of in my life. And I had to YouTube him, and I was embarrassed for Jim White. Like, he wins the contest hands down. Okay. Hey, last one. You've met two of my friends, the cooler friend, Mackie or Brad, at the George Jones Museum.
I'm choosing between your friends?
Yeah.
That's completely irrelevant. I just thought of it just now. Because you've met Mackie so many times, you met Brad that once.
I'm going to say, for now, I'm going to say Mackie because he comes to more Titans events. But if Brad picks up his game, I might change my mind.
I think Brad and Chris bonded pretty good that day.
Yeah, they did. They're good friends now. Well, maybe not, but they were good friends on the George Jones Museum. Yeah. We're all friends at the George Jones Museum, though, let's be real.
Yep. Yeah. So, headed to San Diego tomorrow?
Yes, I'm so excited. It's a West Coast trip, so we're taking an extra day, and I cannot wait.
Oh, I love San Diego. It's awesome out there.
Yes, it is.
Well, send me a postcard. I've never been there, so I know your job sucks to go to Miami and San Diego on the regular.
Yep,
so.
hit up Coronado while you're out there. It's beautiful if you ain't been out there.
It's a really tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Don't worry, check my Snapchat. I'll send pictures.
I'll see your Snapchat. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Tell Chris, get ready. We'll have him on in a few weeks to talk about his music career.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
You're listening to the One Lane Road Podcast with Lucas and DK. If you're on social media, check us out on Twitter at OLR Podcast. Check Dustin out at DREKennedy_83. You can find my page at LGHickman21. Look us up on Instagram at OLR Podcast. And you can find our Facebook page and like it at One Lane Road Podcast.
All right, that was Amber Harding from the Tennessee Titans. That was a pretty awesome interview.
Good interview. She's a good get.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to have her, and she's we meant to should have.
I don't do much on social media, but I'm just gonna start spamming the Titans with some mayonnaise jars every chance I get.
Is that not the most ridiculous?
That killed me, man.
I was unaware of that.
I'd never heard of that.
No,
all these Titans fans love mayonnaise, so that's so hilarious.
That's so stupid. Jacksonville.
Where does that even come from?
You suck at life, Jacksonville. Jesus Christ. But hey, she was the first female guest we've had, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah. Well, I guess nothing's much changed. We're just sexist around here. Don't try to get female guests or something. But because how many weeks ago was she supposed to be our guest, and a couple different times, and we said at then it was going to be our first female guest. Yep. So maybe we
still are.
Maybe
we just stay true to our word.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Yeah, staying true to our word.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
man, have you caught up on any of this Jalen Hurts situation in Tennessee?
I heard what everybody heard. I heard what everybody said and what they were saying, but you dropped some pretty interesting theory/knowledge on me.
It's all strictly rumor at this point, but
if it's true, it's that's probably the biggest scandal to hit UT in a while.
Yeah, and they're covering it up for him if it's true. And this is just something that was released on Twitter today.
Tell everybody what the original story was.
Okay, Georgia. They said he was maybe got a concussion, got hurt. Well, they never said concussion. I'm sorry.
They never said what
they said he got hurt,
right?
And he never come back in the game,
right?
So the next week he doesn't travel to A&M,
right? Which
was, big time rumors, that week. So then he comes back and he's not playing very well, and then there's an altercation on the sideline between Dobbs and Hurd. This past, disappointing loss, one of the worst losses Butch has taken since being at Tennessee. So now it comes out today, and I've heard rumors here and there in between, but the rumor was that that Butch and Jalen Hurd got into it during the Georgia game.
Right.
Refused to go back in.
Refused to go back in, or they wouldn't let him go back in?
No, he refused. Oh. He got pissed off at Butch, told him to F himself on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Then something happens. He goes in and scores another touchdown, comes over and talks smack to Butch. Then refuses to go back in again, apparently.
Right.
And then so they have a players meeting. Well, the staff met with the players, and they decided what they wanted to do with him, asked the players what to do, and they vote to suspend him for a game. Like I said, and I'm just taking off what other people showed me on the internet today.
Right.
So then this happens, and the rumor now is, and I feel like some old damn 40-year-old woman cutting hair in a beauty salon somewhere, going off gossip here. But basically, this is what's being said is that they met again, and the players voted to kick him off the team because he wasn't that close to anyone on the team. He rubbed the players the wrong way.
Right.
He said there was no team without him. But you got to look at when he went to Beach, and he take it however you want. He sits out his senior year to avoid getting injured, so he can have a scholarship. Now, does he think he's hurting his stock in the NFL? So he's not going to. I don't know what I don't believe the transferring story. I believe that they're covering all this up with a transfer story. Why would you protect the kid if he's,
That's the only thing that makes me kind of question it. If he's gonna, if he's actually doing all this to himself, if this is self-inflicted and it makes him look like an ass, why would you not put it out there?
Right.
That's the part that I don't quite understand.
But it's not hurting Tennessee either way.
Not, yeah.
Either way, it's not hurting Tennessee.
Yeah,
whether they tell the truth.
Yeah.
Unless, the thing for Jalen Hurts supporters is that he was believed that the offense was to be centered around him in an I formation. And they're not. They're running stuff now through Kamara, and they're running stuff through John Kelly and who fits their offense better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's set better for an NFL maybe, and he's saying he's going to transfer and go to a tight end, wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm.
My belief in all this before this story came out was that's ridiculous. He's going to the pros.
Right.
Will his stock have dropped? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You can't quit your team and your stock
go up.
Dorial Green Beckham, who was a supposed top 5-10 pick, he had all those altercations off the field. He was a 40th pick by the Titans, that year. So he's absolutely hurt his stock. Now we're all guessing. We're just waiting for the news to what's next. Someone said the coach I coached basketball with just told me today he heard that he'd got an apartment in Cookeville and was thinking about taking classes a la Rick Rogers, who got kicked off the Vols team several years ago. And hey, we've talked about on this podcast how when A.J. Carter plays at Spanky's, Jalen Hurd's there.
Yeah.
Living it up, Cookeville style.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Jalen Hurd's going to be in Cookeville. No, whether he suits up for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles,
for TTU, yeah.
He's a hell of a lot more talented than Rick Rogers. I mean, we're talking about a.
Yeah, now he may transfer, but he's going someplace besides TTU. I mean,
I don't know what the restrictions are. I don't know what the rules and limitations are and where he can go. Because let's be honest. Butch is not going to sign his full release and say, "Hey, go ahead and go play for Georgia or Florida or somebody, our rival." We'll see. It's going to be an interesting next couple months. See what happens with the situation.
Something to touch on something that you said last week with at Clay County. You're talking about to Tyreek that recruiters will tell you things like they're gonna run this around you. You think Hurd was told that they were going to run around him? They got up there and he's not.
Yes.
Does he have a legitimate gripe about that?
Apparently, the thing that's coming out on Bush Jones this week is that he'll tell you the world,
tell you whatever,
and then
rip the carpet out from under you.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting, and I know a lot of Vols fans are anxious to see what's going on. So
who I'm just ready. I'm ready for Peyton to step in and just be that head coach up here. I'm with everybody else. I'm ready for some Peyton time back in UT.
No, it's not. It's Kenny Chesney. That's the best line ever. Hey, every time something happens with Butch or Dave Hart or anybody on UT, of course, Dave Hart's gone now, but anytime anything happens, well, Peyton's going to be the coach. Well, Peyton's going to be the offensive coordinator. Peyton's going to be the athletic director.
Mm-hmm.
God, he needs to do something.
Peyton, just come back.
Just come on home and save his place on the hill because, he's the
best offensive coordinator in the NFL the whole time he was in there.
He was his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so
I don't give a shit who was on the docket. He was the.
He can come back and be the offensive coordinator for UT, but he'll still be the head guy in charge. I don't care who the coach is.
I trolled a friend of mine, and the only reason I trolled my friend Jeremy, the same one that put the Pinterest thing, Jeremy Tollison, that put my Pinterest profile out there. He's a big Vols fan, and he put after the South Carolina loss, the going theme for UT all year has been feels like '98, which of course is the home to the last national championship. So I said feels like 08 ? Trolled Jeremy a little bit back in the back. So hey, it's gonna be interesting. Tonight, got a little NBA news. I know you hadn't probably kept up with much NBA yet.
No,
trying to get on the NBA bandwagon. Tonight is the first meeting of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook since the breakup.
Since they split.
Saw the funny video today of Adele's "Hello from the Other Side."
Yeah, with Westbrook just
I'm
winning.
over here in California, whatever the lyrics are. And no, it's not. It's just like basically Kevin Durant's calling from California, and I'm saying hello from the other side. And it's got their. I never cease to amaze what you can see on the internet.
Yeah.
But all seriousness, everybody thought the Thunder were going to be cellar dwellers just because hey, let's not forget Russell Westbrook, the point guard for the Thunder. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Give you his stats here for the first 4 games.
Killing it this year.
First through 4 games of the NBA season, 38 points, 10 assists, and 11 rebounds. I mean, he had 2 out of his first 3 games were triple-doubles, and the first one he only missed a triple-double by an assist. My vote, I mean, I know it's going to sound like a bandwagon now, but last week you talked to me before the first game, and it's a lot of people's vote. I'm saying Russell Westbrook. If the Thunder can stay in the top 3 or 4 contenders in the West,
league MVP,
hands down, going away
without a doubt.
Just because his motor is so high, and it got hard watching him and Durant together because he would kind of do his own thing.
Yeah,
and KD would kind of be over in the clapping and KD was always such a team player. He never made a stink about it.
Yeah.
But I think he got tired of that act.
Right.
But on the other hand, how are you going to handle being in the team with 2 or 3 guys? The Warriors were star-studded already.
Yeah.
Then you bring in another. How many times we talked about the Warriors last year being they had 3 of the top 12 players in the league. Now you had a top 5, 10.
If that's where his wheelhouse is, he may add right to that. That he may be a good player out there. But
right.
Everybody was, like you're saying, everybody was on that. Well, KD left. They're going to suck. Westbrook said they ain't going to suck.
No.
Watch this.
Yeah.
I'll carry this team if I have to.
He's showing out, man. He's the official Jordan sponsor. Like Jordan has already picked him.
Mm-hmm.
He's
as his replacement.
Well, he's the
heir apparent.
He works for the Jordan brand,
right?
And they had a pretty hard commercial trolling Durant not long ago. And anytime you get the endorsement of Michael Jeffrey Jordan,
mm-hmm.
and I hate the acronym the GOAT, but let's be honest, kids under 30, just get real. Jordan is the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't give a care what LeBron stat you throw at me. Talk to me in 5 years, you may have a case. Right now, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the greatest of all the times.
That's I'm on to the GOAT is Ricky Carmichael. I don't care what sport it is. Ricky Carmichael's the GOAT.
Okay.
You don't know who that is, do you?
I know the name. Yeah,
motocross, motocross royalty.
Yeah. Ricky, I was thinking NASCAR. Just gonna sound like a NASCAR name.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about now. But there is some crazy scoring going on in the NBA.
I would say there's some monster athletes coming out this year already, just right here at the beginning of the year.
And one person I want to acknowledge is Anthony Davis, a guy that when he played at the University of Kentucky, just tall, lanky, defensive kid.
Yeah. One eyebrow all day.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Never. He can't get rid of that now. That's his trademark.
I say he don't want to. Don't touch that.
That's like Harden and his big nappy beard, covering his ugly face and his jacked up teeth, But Davis is legit. I never thought he would be so offensively skilled, but he come out on the first night with 50 points, 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, 5 assists, followed it up with 45. He's come back down to reality. He's 5th in the league in scoring at a measly 32 points a game. This dude's killing it. Like Harden scoring 32 a game. Lillard's a little over 32. DeMar DeRozan for Toronto's averaging 36 back-to-back 40-point games. I don't know if it's back-to-back, but he's had 2 40-point games. The NBA, man, has got me excited. I remember James Rinks, our listener, just went crazy on me last year when I was talking about how the NBA had went down and, basically we had San Antonio was a legit team.
Yeah.
Golden State, Cleveland, Oklahoma City. And I was like, I just don't get excited anymore. I was like, dude, how can you not get excited? But after I've sit back and looked at it, I've looked at guys like Davis, and I've looked at Damian Lillard. Toronto they're not a legit contender. I don't care how many points DeMar DeRozan scores. They're just not. But man, I'm excited by a kid named Joel Embiid. He's a center, power forward for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted him 3 years ago with the big class of Wiggins and Jabari Parker, and they drafted him 3, and they're like, this kid's got Hakeem Olajuwon talent.
Yeah.
Right? But he had foot injuries coming out of college, so they're like, are we going to take him? Well, they took him. He's not played his first 2 years. Finally, he's played. And in his first game of his 3rd season, he scores 20 points in 22 minutes.
Man.
And I name this list of centers that are like a big man like DeMarcus Cousins and Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis and all these cats that's coming out. And Curtis Rich tweets me, he's like, you forgot Jahlil Okafor. Because he's a Duke fan. I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't forget him. He's like, he done that. I was like, I don't even want to talk. I don't even have this conversation. He's like criticizing Embiid, but hey, watch out, man. Joel Embiid is going to be, if he stays healthy, he's going to be the next dominant big man in the NBA. He's a throwback to Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm excited for the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. Karl Anthony Towns combined with Andrew Wiggins.
You know who I was, who I'm actually looking up right now. I was, I don't know what I got to thinking about him the other day, but Corey Brewers, he's finally screwed around and got over to the Rockets, and he's
getting some big minutes.
He's getting some big minutes right now, and he's actually got some good scoring going on here. I just looked him up the other day, and I can't quote any of his stats off, but I was kind of impressed by that. It's took him a while to find a home, but it seems like he's finally.
He bounced around. He got that championship with Dallas in 2011. He was with Minnesota for a while, but like you said, he's been with Houston for, a handful of seasons now, I feel like.
He's.
I'll tell you what he's done. He's found a nice little niche.
Uh-huh.
Corey Brewer is not a starter in the NBA. He's a nice fill-in if you got an injury on your team.
Yeah.
But he's a defensive-minded guy. He's long, and he does all the things that go unnoticed a lot of times in games. And
yeah, so
he's a good role player.
Yeah, he is, and so he's been in Houston since 2014. Looks like he's averaging about 25 minutes. He got about 25 minutes a game, 14-15, getting about 20 and 15-16, and I was just his points per game. There it is. He's been a really good, really good contributor. Yeah, 11 or 12 and earlier, and he's about 8 this year. So I mean, he's doing pretty good there.
He's a good role player.
Yeah,
he is, and I mean, hey, I'm sure those people in Portland, Tennessee, are mighty proud
of that guy.
him.
Yeah,
I know he did a little autograph signing, maybe at a library or something. I seen on something prior to the season, and
there was one more stat here that I was wanting to look at. He had come in and had a couple of really big games there. When he made his debut for the Rockets against the Portland Trailblazers, in just under 23 minutes off the bench, he scored 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, and a block.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, he had a 26 point and 10 rebounds and a win over the Toronto Raptors. So I mean,
he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, and he on February 4th, he started for the Rockets, and he dropped a season-high 24 points when he played the Suns. So, I mean, he's out there. He's putting in his...
He's probably one of those guys, if you get him on a worse team and where he had to play more minutes, he would probably do.
Yeah, start shining a little bit.
Yeah, I would think so. But I think for his skill set, he's probably where he needs to be.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did have an opinion on this. I told you about it prior, and I know you'd seen something about it, that were the Cavs that had their annual LeBron's Halloween party that he has every team is at. They trolled the Warriors a little bit.
Yeah, you was telling me about that.
They have like a drum kit, and it had like the skyline of the San Francisco with the 3-1. Well, of course, everybody knows the Warriors were up on the Cavs 3-1 in the finals.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we know the history. They blew the lead, and
gave it back to them, yeah.
And then you got cookies or something that said, "Rest in peace, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry," 15-16.
Uh-huh.
Klay did not find the humor in it and says, "Well, that's funny. I'm not dead." And, he obviously didn't take it too well.
Yeah. Either that or completely missed.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And while I'm not ultimately, I am so bipolar on LeBron. Like, I love him 1 minute and I hate him 1 minute.
Yeah.
I just hate his come look at me attitude. Dude, we all know you're the best in the league. Chill out. Let all of us brag on you.
But you don't get to be the best in the league without having that attitude. You don't get to be the best at anything without having that attitude.
I get it. And I'm not saying that, but because I love this trolling.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, dude, that's kind of tacky on LeBron. But no, I'm so sick, and as I've talked about on this show before, I'm so sick of these new school guys who are like, hey, buddy, and they're all dabbing each other up before the game, and they're all loving on each other. Like I said, I've used this example before. Isaiah and Magic dabbed each other up, and they kiss each other on the cheek, but they bust each other's butts when they got on the court.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't nothing friendly in between those lines when the clock's running. But I love this. The league needs this because, let's be real, there's really not any contenders other than the Warriors and the Cavs. The Spurs might sneak in because the Spurs are the Spurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are the teams that are going to be playing in June.
Yeah,
barring any big time injuries.
What do you think these guys would have really done to with Kevin Garnett? These guys that just really don't know how to talk that trash, don't know how to take it like that. If
Kevin Garnett would ate their breakfast.
If KG just ever decided just to lay in on one of them, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
They say KG, along with Gary Payton, Larry Bird, was the top probably 3 trash talkers in the history of the game.
He probably learned it from some of them. He come in so long ago, he got to play with half of them.
KG?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, KG played literally, like I said, Shaq is always the gapping. Like, Shaq played
with Barkley,
Jordan, Stockton, Malone, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of played in the era. So kind of did Garnett. I mean, Garnett came in 3 years after Shaq did. And had a long, great career. And when you see him, he'd just be out there hitting himself in the head. And he's just going crazy out there, man. I've never seen anything like Kevin Garnett in my life. And hey, speaking of which, to end on that, I love it. I hate all the sucking up in the league.
Right.
Even though I'm a bipolar on LeBron, I love that you're trolling the Warriors and saying, hey, if you're so pissed off about it, come do something about it.
Yeah.
Because around here in Cleveland,
yeah, I've still got that championship. Come get it.
We're up in the press box at the Indians game, taking our shirt off, acting like Petey Pablo up in here.
Yeah.
You know, we the kings right now, so you come do something about it. But
boy, if they win, or if Cleveland loses next year, and
I hope Golden State trolls the hell out of them.
Just wears them out.
Trolls the hell out of them. Officially this year, even though he's not played actively in 2 years, Ray Allen, the greatest shooter
of all time
in my mind.
Jesus,
Shuttlesworth, brother, the greatest shooter of all time. I know Steph's getting there. When Steph puts together 4 or 5 more years, maybe.
Yeah.
To me, Ray Allen. Ray Allen's the man. Last couple of years, it's been the speculation of towards the end of the season,
right,
whether he'd jump on a playoff team, and it just never happened. So officially, he hung it up, and
had a good career. He had a long run too.
He did. He was in since '96. I mean, he come in with Kobe.
Yeah.
So that just adds one more name to what will go down in 2021 as the greatest Hall of Fame class
of all time.
You're talking about the Mamba, Mr. Kobe Bean,
Black Mamba,
Kobe Bean Bryant, and then you got KG and Duncan, and then Ray Allen. And I don't see how any of those guys are not first ballot Hall of Famers. You got
it'd be ridiculous if they weren't.
You got Kobe, who's the second greatest shooting guard of all time behind Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest power forward of all time in Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Garnett, who's in the conversation for top 5 power forwards. Then you got Ray Allen, the greatest shooter. I mean, that's the best Hall of Fame class there's ever going to be.
There it is.
So, hey, getting away from sports, we've
been a long
sports man. Yeah, man. A little bit, but I just want to say nice little congratulations to our friend William Russell and his wife now. They kind of went low-key marriage on us.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Hey, William will do some...
William's William.
William goes to the march of his own drum for sure. Yeah. So William and Taylor Russell, congratulations on your beautiful baby boy, Abram Dash, that was born yesterday.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was yesterday.
The day before. I remember which day it was. Good-looking little kid, man. It looked like everything come out 10 fingers, 10 toes, man.
Sure did,
It looked exactly like William, those first pictures that come out.
I can't tell, man. People always say that, and I just...
I seen a picture Taylor put up earlier, and it after the swelling went down, it started to look more like Taylor had some Taylor looks in her cheeks and stuff. So
yeah, I'm the worst, man. Like, I can look at my kids knowing damn well what my traits look like and damn well what my wife's traits look like.
Can't see it.
I don't have a clue. But it's so funny, like, when Bayless was born, my Aunt went on and was like, "Oh, that's your Pa Barry. That looks just like Barry Kennedy."
Right.
I'm like, well, I'm glad you see it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to study for the next 24 hours while I'm up awake trying to figure out who this kid looks like. Yeah. So, man. Hey, William and Taylor, I love them both to death. I don't know that they either one have listened to 2 seconds of this podcast. William is... for anybody that listened last week, Dawson, that come on the show, and I give William some crap about his long Jerry curl he's growing. So I call it a little Jerry curl he's got going on. So friends of ours, and so congratulations, my friend. And hey, speaking on the baby front, by God, any day
now, any day. Here in the next, we're 38 weeks on Saturday, so it's
rounded off to 40.
We're just about there, man.
So it could be like realistically, this might be our last podcast for a little while.
Realistically, it could be. I mean, it'll kind of depend, if
put me out of work.
If we get
this baby's put me out of work.
If Kara gets induced, it's going to be on a Wednesday. So I mean, it'll knock us out of one at least anyway. Might knock us out of a couple. Might go ahead and take a little break in there just to let the baby get settled and do a few new things with the show and stuff. But it's coming, man. It's right here. We packed the bags today whenever I got here, and then I went out and put the car seat in the car whenever I got here before I come down here and set up.
Is it getting real to you?
I'm one of those guys. I don't get really excited about anything. So I don't get really excited about anything. But I'm excited. I'm as excited as I've been about anything. I'm ready to see him, ready for him to be here. Not super worried about it because it kind of just. Whatever comes of it, no matter what, everybody wants a happy, healthy kid, but, whatever happens, I'm going to be happy, and Kara's super excited, and I'm just ready. I'm just ready to see him. I've been rubbing her belly for 37 and a half weeks now. So
I saw some pictures on Facebook that you had that thing palmed.
Yeah, they said we was at the Standing Stone Park, and the girl that was taking the picture said, grab her belly, and I said, "You mean like this?"
That's exactly what the face looked like. Yeah.
And she snapped a picture when I did it. I thought, well, that was pretty funny. But no, we got pictures. Kara's got that big round belly out there now, and she's knocking stuff off tables and stuff with it. So we're ready, man. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited for you. I know y'all, like I said, y'all been together so long, and I know, good Lord knows y'all put in the time of like when y'all gonna have that baby.
Oh my God! 9 years worth of when are y'all gonna get married?
Nobody wore you out a bit about it.
And in 4 years worth of when you're gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
We'll have it when it's time. When it's time for us to, we're going to.
Well, it is here. And
yeah, it's here, man. We're excited.
I wish you both the best of luck, and I'm sure everything will go great.
Yeah, I'm sure it will too. We got a little thing going on tomorrow with him. He forgot to turn, so we're going to go try to turn him tomorrow and see how that goes. And
must be stubborn like you.
I'm afraid his big head's stuck behind Kara's ribs or something. He can't move.
Glad you said it. I'm ready to smoke.
God knows Kara said it.
I'm ready to smoke my first cigar in the last 7 months.
Yeah.
And
I'll light this one for you.
Yeah. Well, I can light my baby cigar. Is that damn Cuban cigar?
Yeah, it's just too moist.
I was still thinking about them Cuban women.
You probably still got that one down there. It still ain't lit. And
I threw it away when we left vacation. I said, "Hell with this cigar. I ain't messing with this no more, man." So,
well, good deal, man.
Well, lastly, after we're talking about the babies, speaking of little people, tomorrow is my friend Jeremy and Jeff Mackey's, the twins, like 40th birthday or something like that. I don't know how. I'll be 33, so they'll be 35.
Yeah.
Jeremy going on 15.
Yeah. Mackie, come on up, and I need to practice some swaddling. So come on up here, and we'll put you in the crib, and I'll swaddle you before he gets there.
I had a Facebook mirror. He'll drop a 5-year-old. Remember that? He'll drop a kid.
By the time my kid's 5, he's gonna be twice his size.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I got a picture of Waylon.
Cancer.
Yeah. I don't even smoke.
Yeah.
I got a picture of Jeremy and Waylon on my phone, and like Waylon's like right there, shoulder like about to pass him anytime. I had a Facebook memory come up the other day, and it said, "About to go to LTAP date with 2 brunette twins." I said, "Unfortunately, it's the Mackey brothers." Well, no, Jeff. I think Jeff still listens, but Jeremy's been on the show, and we'd just like to give you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, little buddy.
And congratulations on you becoming a part-time Cubs fan, Trader. I hate to know anybody with a Red Sox tat on his calf cheering for the Cubs the way he was, but there it is.
There it is.
So, hopefully we're coming back. I took a poll on Twitter for any of you guys that didn't see it on Facebook or Twitter. Hopefully we don't get stood up with you never know sometimes with these big-name celebrities. They'll tell you one thing and not, but I seen Keith Bullock about a month ago, and he said, absolutely, man, if Mike's done it and Kevin's done it, I'll do it. I'll mess with you, he said. And I said, okay. So I put a poll on Twitter asking the top 4 former Titans if they were able to come available, and Keith won the vote with 41%. So I tweeted to him. He said, yeah, man, let's do it. And he said, I got time next week. Mm-hmm. So getting in between now and next week, and whether you're available to do it.
Yeah, I would say we'll just have to see. And, as long as everything goes all right tomorrow, then next week barring her going into labor by herself, I'll be good next week too.
Yeah. So we definitely look forward to one of the. I would put Keith Bullock as one of the top 5 Titans of all time, and hopefully a really good interview. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, so. Good deal. All right, everybody. Well, maybe we'll see you next week, and I may have a baby crying in the background for you. But all right, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, see you guys.